It's your grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light tonight, little flock. If y'all have been paying attention to the energy, you can feel the stress level rising of the people around you. The stress level is rising because obviously fear. People are becoming afraid. And when people become afraid, when people become afraid, then that proves that they don't think that they're loved. Well, I should say it proves that they don't know that they're loved. That's why they're afraid. If you know that you're loved and protected, will you be afraid? You can't say that you will be afraid if the scripture says perfect love casts out fear. So then the obvious answer is, if you know you're loved and that feeling of being loved reside inside of you, then fear is cast out of you. And if fear is cast out, then all the torment associated with fear is now cast out of you. As the scripture says, fear hath torment, and he who feareth is not been made perfect in love. That's what's hindering him in his life, y'all. Anybody listen to this. The hindrance that you have is your doubt that you're loved. Because if you know that you're loved, then you won't do any fearful act. You won't feel any fearful way, and therefore you won't have any torment. But this pressure cooker that's increased in the land causes people torment to increase. You see what I'm saying to you? Because if you have fear, then you're going to do everything opposite of what Yahushua actually told you to do. Do you understand that, little flock? You can only do what he has told you to do if you give up fear. You must be born again. So then that proves that we were all born fearful. You see? And that's because we don't recognize the environment that we're born into. We don't actually know the environment, nor do we know us. As the book of Isaiah says, Israel does not know his master, and he doesn't know his master's crib. See what I'm saying to you, little flockulators? So then if you're God's child, if you're part of God's family and part of his flock, then you were part of those people that did not know, nor did you consider. So you just allowed the world to tell you what it was, even though the world is a lie. That's why he had to come and make sure that he made that clear to everybody by telling them, you are of your father, the devil, who is a liar, the father of it, the originator of lying. Do you see that, little flockulators? So then obviously, you see there's two types. And because there's two types, there's two different protocols that they live by. And you have to decide which one you are. Or as the scripture has often said, choose ye this day who you shall serve. Fear or love. Isn't it obvious? So this day, what do you choose? Do you choose to allow fearful thoughts to rule your house and fertilize your feelings, making you one with those unclean thoughts? Is that what you're going to do? Is that what you're going to choose? Because Abba did indeed say it was your choice. So then if you feel bound by something today, what must you do to be free? His commandment is to love. So then what you must do is come into love and in harmony with love, with yourself. And then if you do that, then you can truly keep his command to love others. Because the second is like unto the first. So if you don't know what you're telling other people about, then you're not really telling them about it. You hear what I'm saying? It's like somebody trying to tell, say I have a wife, and there's another man that's going to tell you guys about my wife. Who do you trust to be able to tell you more about her? That guy or me, her husband? See what I'm saying to you, little flock? Well, so it is with Christ. If you're married to him, then you know him intimately, which allows you to then tell others about him more intimately than those who say they know him, but their hearts are far from him, so they truly don't know him. So they run around talking and talking and talking as if they are teaching about Christ, but they indeed cannot teach about Christ because they don't actually know him. And so it is with these things that I talk to you guys about on a daily basis, little flock. It's no different. These are things that I must know so that I can truly tell you. So I can say, verily, verily, tried and tested, double. You see what I'm saying? Double. So that you know that what you're hearing is a sure thing. And so it is with this. You don't have to be afraid of anything. And that's what Yahushua was telling you. If I tell you not to be afraid, then you should be able to match it up with Yahushua's words and see if he told you that. Or see if he said, be afraid. Pay attention to your circumstances and then respond to them. You guys know good and well that's not what he says. He tells us to have faith. And if we have faith the size of a mustard seed, then we shall be able to do marvelous, mighty works. So then you simply have to simply know that. Not fantasize over it in your mind. Wow, that would be so cool if I could do mighty things like that. You can. Now, if you don't think that the world you live in, their problem is thinking that they can't, then how come Yahushua says, faithless and perverse, how long shall I be with thee? Now, when he went to his hometown, it says he could not do many mighty works there. I need you to tell me why, because I already know why. I'll tell you why. Because they lacked faith. That's why, little flock. So then if you were a wise person who claims to love God, who claims to believe what his son had to say, then what must you have today in order to please God? Faith. Because it is impossible to please him without it. And that's what people are without. And that's why they don't please God, even though they think that they do. Look, guys, if there are not a lot of people that think that they do, then how come Yahushua says what he says to them? I never knew you. Y'all acting like I do. Y'all act like y'all know me. But you don't, because I don't know you. And you see that conversation take place, and then you still go on the earth thinking, everybody knows Jesus Christ. Everybody knows what he was saying and what he stood for. Obviously, they don't. They just think they do. Now, the strange thing about that is when you see a true servant of Christ, he doesn't look, act, sound anything like anybody before him, but yet the whole world denies he's the one that's set apart, that actually knows Christ. They're the ones saying he doesn't know Christ. Look at him, he's filthy and dirty and nasty. He has to know Christ, and he has to be called those things because that's what Christ was called. I thought you said you knew him. I do know him. Well, then what kind of things were they calling him? They were calling him holy and blessed and God's son. Well, you didn't read the Bible. Just clearly, you didn't read it. Because if you truly know him, you will be treated in a like fashion. You will be hard to you will be indistinguishable. See what I'm saying? You are become one. And when you become one, you simply do what he would do. And he's not going to be fearful, little flock. So then when you're outside of the flock. You're outside of safety. It's up to you to come back. It's not up to somebody to come out there and bring you back. It's up to you to come back home. Little flock, where you safe? The reason why you're not home is because you don't feel safe. And the reason why you don't feel safe is because you're not at home. Hard to be understood or easy to be understood? I tell you what I think it is. Safest place for a child is to be with their father, their protector, their provider, their tender keeper. I don't know why the world kicking against this prick so bad. He said it's hard for you guys to kick against the pricks, and it is. All of you are living in fear, going on with your own understanding, thinking that you have the solution to the problems. You don't have the solution. Abba has it. Abba has the solution to the problem. So if you submitted to what he told you what the solution was, then you had the salvation you were looking for. But the problem is submission, ain't it? Who wants to submit? Now, I'm going to let y'all in on a little mystery. The reason why the pressure cooker is turning up and why the stress level is rising, the reason why this is taking place is to remove certain people out of their positions. You see, it's to shake the ones who are not founded on a solid rock out of their position. That's what apocalypse is. That's what revelation actually is, guys. The revealing of what a thing actually is. You live in a world of liars. Yahusha told you that. So then everything that everybody has painted up has been a lie. So then in order for it to be exposed, they have to be shaken loose from their false pedestals that they have put themselves on. And in Yahusha's day, he would have called it Moses' seat. That means a place of being judgmental and judging people. They put themselves in that seat, but that's not their true position. You see it? So they're going to be shaken from there. That's what it means when it says Satan was cast out of heaven. His place was no longer found there. See? You see what I'm telling to you? Of course you're going to feel good living in a circumstance where you have fooled everybody into believing you're a king and you're rich and you're wealthy and you deserve all good things. If everybody falls for that and believes it, then you're going to be happy and you're going to be in heaven. See how that's going? You're going to feel as though you're in heaven. But the moment that strong breeze comes through and that pressure cooker turn up, see what I'm describing to y'all? Then you're going to be shaken loose from that false tree you were hanging on there. Your false position, your false place. You're going to be shaken loose from it. Now, the shaking, when it occurs, it affects everybody in the room. So the little flock, when it shake, you're supposed to demonstrate. Can you hear what the grandson's saying today? When it shake, you're supposed to demonstrate. What you supposed to demonstrate? Just how loved you are. Just how loved you know you are. This is your time to shine for what you truly really are. Look, guys, if the Bible says the whole creation is waiting for the manifestation of something, then I would say that that means that the whole creation is waiting for something to be revealed for what it actually is. Well, that thing that the whole creation is waiting for, guess what it is, little flock? It's your ass. It ain't somebody else, it's you. And what's going to cause you to become manifest? Trial, tribulation, as the Bible calls it, the furnace of adversity, where all acceptable men are made. It ain't hard to understand that, is it? Is it? Because that's where the false branches fall away, in the furnace of adversity. Look, when they put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, what happened to the guys that took them to put them in there? It says the fire leapt upon them and burnt their asses up. Did you hear it, little flock, or did you not? But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they didn't even smell like smoke, nor were their clothes singed, and their hair wasn't even singed. So then they were loved, weren't they? So then they had to demonstrate, didn't they? See what I mean? But look at the furnace they were in when they demonstrated that they were loved by being unharmed, untouched, and unscathed. So that means I'm safe then. If I'm unharmed, untouched, and unscathed, correct? That means that I'm safe. So then I might as well act as though I am. That's demonstrating. They're panicking because they're scared because they take thought. But if you're the kind that doesn't take thought, which you're supposed to be that kind, little flock, in case you didn't know. But if you're the kind that don't take thought, then when the thoughts come because of stress to try to wear you down on the shit that you ain't supposed to think about, those who are thinking about it are going to be so bogged down with stress, so saddened, so fucking pressure cooked on their ass that they're going to burst, because pressure busts pipes. That's what it's designed to do. Like Abba said, the furnace of adversity is designed to do, and he gave you examples of what you're designed to do when you're put in there. You're not supposed to scream. You're not supposed to even act like you're harmed, because obviously you're not. Now, as you do some further research, you'll find out that those weren't the only guys thrown into a fiery furnace, guys. Did you read about Abraham? Did you read about him when he was thrown into a fiery furnace as well? What happened to him when he was tossed in? He didn't burn. The tunic he had wrapped around him didn't even burn up. The underwear he had around him did not burn, nor did he even sweat. So then, here's another proof of how you're supposed to be in a scary, stormy, or fiery temptation. Act like you're loved. Act like you're protected. Feel as though you are, because obviously you are. It don't go by sight. That's why it's called faith. What does sight say when you're going into a fiery furnace? Your carnal mind is going to tell you what? That you're safe? See? Watch what I'm about to tell you. If you're about to get tossed into a fiery furnace, what is the carnal mind going to say? I'm not asking you anything else. I'm only asking you, what is the carnal mind going to say? Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, what am I telling you to say? Well, you're telling me to say, I am safe. I am protected. Yeah, that's what you're telling me to say. Now, is your carnal mind telling you to say, I am safe and I am protected? Okay, now I want you to consider what Abba said. The carnal mind is death. The spiritual mind is life and peace. Now, out of the two suggestions that you just got, which was the carnal mind suggestions concerning the furnace, and the suggestions I gave you, which are I am safe, I am protected. Which one gives you life and peace? I'm gonna die. I'm on fire. I'm smoking with a crisp coming off my ass, smelling like fried chicken from KFC. Might as well put a biscuit with some honey next to me. That gonna make you feel life and peace? Hell no, that's death. See how it's about the mind that you choose? That's what I'm telling you all today. It's not something outside of you that you choose that makes you righteous. That's what the hypocrites do. It's what you choose inwardly that makes you righteous. It's what comes forth out of your heart that defile you, not what going into your mouth. You see how it always comes back to the matter of the heart. It's going to always come back to it. It's never going to change. It's never going to shift or do anything to alter that truth. It's going to stay the same. It's going to be immutable because that's what the truth is. It doesn't change. Isn't that what Abba said about himself? And isn't that what it says about the Son? The same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So then tell me when it said he's going to change. You didn't. So then why you acting like it did? Watch out, kitty. Watch out, Garfield. Y'all hear that today? It's a simple choice you have to make. Okay, I'm in the carnal mind because I'm feeling death. Shit, stress, sadness, regret, dissatisfaction, loneliness, pity. You see? That shit. That's all carnal mind. That's not coming from life and peace. So then I automatically know who's in error today. See what I'm trying to tell you all? Imagine if everybody understood what I was saying and applied it to their life. For one, they'd all be safe. And two, they wouldn't be focused on what somebody else had going on. That's why Yahushua was like, I don't judge no man. Y'all keep coming to me trying to accuse me. I'm not going around doing that shit to you niggas, picking up a stone, trying to throw it at nobody. When did Yahushua pick up a stone to throw it? He didn't. He didn't. He's simply telling you, you're in the carnal mind, and that's death. Now, look how you want to kill when I tell you that. See how I'm proving that you're in the carnal mind? And that's as simple as it is, little flock. Can y'all understand that? And can you accept that and receive that? You're proving you're in the carnal mind when you think up death type of shit. Ain't it obvious? Because the spiritual mind is life and peace. They come together. So if you're on that boat and you're asleep, then that obviously means that you're not worried. Well, perfect love casts out fear. You only will be worried if you have fear. But Yahusha said, don't worry. So in other words, he said, don't have fear. Well, he says, fear not. See? It ain't hard to understand, little flock. It's just rebelliousness because y'all skittish. Look, if Israelites ain't scary, then how come they have to keep being told not to be scared? How come you read in the Bible so many times they shuddered with fear because of what they saw? How many times did it happen to the Israelites? They saw something and they got scared. How many times did they see something and that caused them to doubt God? How many times did they see a number and they decided to doubt God because of the number that they were looking at? How many times did they look and see no food and they decided to doubt God even though he fed thousands with just a little bit? How many times is God going to have to prove himself before you fall into his hands and just trust him? Like they did in the fiery furnace. Fall into Abba's hands and he will deliver me. Watch. See how that attitude? Well, if you seek it by faith, believing, you shall have it. Doesn't matter what it is. Like the fiery furnace. It doesn't matter how hot it is. God kept proving that because they tried to heat it up hotter than it was normally. They did heat it up 7 times hotter. And it didn't do any good to do that. It only harmed their ass more. It didn't hurt the 3 men that they put in there anymore by heating it up. So then this is the pressure cooker. If he heated it up, watch this. Watch. When he put them in there, didn't he heat the furnace 7 times more? You guys are like, yeah, he did. Okay. So that means it was hot enough to kill, but he wanted to make sure that he'd kill them. So he heated it up further, correct? Now, when the children of Israel were in Egypt, they cried out because of the labor. And then what did the Pharaoh Egyptian do? He increased their workload. So increase the workload. Do you hear that? That after you're already crying out, your workload is increased. So what's happening? What's happening? The pressure cooker is rising, like I told you. But the pressure cooker only rises to destroy your enemy, just like Egypt, just like Babylon, and anybody else who seek to control God's people. To seek to keep you in the carnal mind is all it is. He told you that's all they think about. That's all they think about. That's what he told you. The Gentiles seek after these things, but you be not like unto them. See? So then we're just different. One walks by sight. If you walk by sight, then all you think about is carnal things and all you care about is carnal things. Well, the carnally minded mind carnal things, but the spiritually minded mind spiritual things, which means think about. So then the Bible tells us to think on these things, things that are true, things that are of a good report, things that are pure, things that are holy, things that are just. That's what we should be thinking about. And if you're thinking about that and you're feeling as though those things are so, then you will have the joy, you will have the peace, you will have the life that Yahusha had when he was on that boat, laying there asleep when they were all panicking. I tell you guys this all the time because people keep panicking, but then they wonder why I keep telling them that. Because the servants of God keep crying, keep murmuring and complaining. Read about the Israelites. Moses had to keep telling the children of Israel to stop moping and complaining. So the grandson is doing the same thing. That's why you have to be reminded of what Yahusha said, so that you don't mope and complain. His words keep you from moping and complaining and fearing. That's why you need to be reminded of it, so you won't fear anymore. And if the fear goes out, love comes in. Silawan, Mr. Hello.